In the spirit of respect, authenticity, and reconciliation, the town of Slave Lake honors and acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional lands of Sawridge First Nation within Treaty 8 territory, home to Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have occupied these lands since time immemorial. Councillor Gramlich.
I'd just like to make a motion to amend the agenda. We have a delegation and I believe they were still coming, so we'll give them some more time. If we could move delegations to let's call it before committee updates or something, that should give them more than enough time to come.
Perfect. So there's a motion on the floor to amend the agenda. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that one is carried. Councillor Choba.
I'd like to move to adopt the agenda as amended.
Okay, any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Okay, so with that, let's move into our reports of new business. Up first is our tax sale process. Roland, floor is yours.
Good evening, your worship and members of council.
Year for this presentation again.
Yeah, there we go. I'm here to enthrall you with the exciting tax recovery process. So we just have this little package here for council for information. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It is quite in depth. It kind of gives you an example there at the back with actual numbers just on exactly how this is all calculated and kind of how it all rolls out. But before we start, there's just a couple of things to know about how taxes work within the town and all over Alberta. The property tax year is from January 1st to December 31st, but taxes are owed by June 30th in the middle of the year. So it's kind of a little different than, some other billing organizations where, it makes more sense to bill after the whole thing, but that is how property taxes are run. And there's also two types of taxes when they're outstanding. So taxes are considered unpaid in the year that they are imposed. Taxes that remain unpaid after December 31st in the year that they're imposed then become arrears. So this is kind of just terminology, but throughout the MGA, you might see some of these terms, and that's kind of what they're getting at there. So we're always looking for ways to improve services and help our residents understand and avoid property tax sales. The property tax sale is considered a last resort to collecting taxes. Each time a notice is set out, a letter, communication, we also include the payments that are accepted here at the town. We try and offer them payment contracts. Generally, we're in contact as much as humanly possible so that we can avoid actually having to go to tax forfeiture. So understanding the process. So this is not something that the town of Slave Lake, the processes and procedures, we made up. This is a MGA regulated kind of process. And so when we go through this, we're following the steps that are laid out in the MGA. We're consulting with the lawyers just in case there's a step or two that we need assistance on, just to make sure that we are doing everything by the book. So why you have this is because everyone needs to pay their property taxes, and after X amount of time, should you have not paid that, then it is up to the municipality to ensure that residents have paid those taxes by taking their property over and recovering that amount. So we've kind of gone over when are taxes in arrears. So again, this is just laid out in the sections of the MGA. As for the process, we've categorized these into four main steps: identification, notification, public auction, and post-auction. So identification process involves preparing arrears letters. Following this, the municipality issues tax recovery notifications. This provides property owners an opportunity to settle their outstanding tax arrears and avoid further steps in the tax recovery process. Notification. The tax recovery process includes issuing a warning of sale to property owners with overdue taxes, followed by offering the parcel of sale at public auction. A reserve bid and auction and conditions are established, and the auction is advertised to the public. And then we come down to the public auction. That's when we get council to accept our reserve bids and the date. And then we normally hold the public auction here in the council chambers. So this includes overseeing the bidding, ensuring compliance and established rules. And just, I guess, as a matter of fact, in the last 12 years, I've had public auctions. I have never had one person actually buy a property at a public auction here. So while we have disposed of properties, that's usually has been done after our public auction process. So after the auction, municipalities have responsibilities that include final sale, transferring property ownership to successful bidders. In some cases, if property remains unsold for 15 years, it may be transferred to the municipality. And there's also other special cases that we can take on. And there's also steps that the town can take should a property not get sold at public auction to take interest and dispose of it ourselves. So identification, this kind of just goes through exactly what's all involved. So we prepare a list, we prepare notifications, and the right to pay tax arrears. So just as an FYI, general knowledge, anyone can actually pay tax arrears owing against the property. So if you're feeling very generous and you know someone who's having a hard time, you're allowed to come into the town office and pay that amount without authorization from the person. The notification, this includes warning of a sale, offer of the parcel for sale, our reserve bid and condition list, advertisement of the public auction, contacting the owners and interested parties before the auction, and then we have the auction, or we may adjourn the auction as well. So we have done this a couple of times where just depending on where we are in the process, we might have set a date and maybe some people said, hey, that date doesn't work for us. We'd like to have it a little bit later. We can adjourn the public auction within 2 months of the advertised sale date without actually having to go back and re-advertise the auction itself. And so the town of Slave Lake, when we do that, we usually post a notice in the lobby as is required, just letting people know. The public auction itself, so the municipality must select a person to conduct the auction. So while a professional auctioneer may be used, in most cases, the CAO or other designated officer will act as the auctioneer. And for the municipal responsibilities for property sold at the auction, anyone purchasing a property at a public auction acquires the property free of all encumbrances aside from those listed in 423, which are very specific cases, and we have not really run into those. Post auction. So we have 3 options when a property is not sold at the public auction. We can go to tax forfeiture. We can clear the title, or we can do absolutely nothing. Proceeds from the sale or rental of tax recovery property. So it's something to understand on the tax recovery process. So let's say we have to take somebody's house and that house is valued at $100,000 and they owe the town $30,000 and we sell the house for $100,000. The town is allowed to recoup its costs, $30,000 plus a couple of legal fees, and the remainder of the funds must go to the person who is the owner of the property. So the municipality does not, I would say, benefit in this process other than they recoup we recoup our taxes that are owing, but the remaining funds of a property go back to whoever is on title. And should the municipality do nothing under certain conditions, an unsold property may be transferred to the municipality after 15 years. We generally don't ever want to wait that long. There are instances and cases where a municipality may choose to do that, depending on sometimes the condition of the house. I know in some of the cases that we've seen, this is sometimes where the house is maybe has something toxic on it and the municipality didn't really want to get involved because it's millions and millions of dollars, and they wait. But after 15 years, they generally have to take it over. And with that, then we kind of just go through the town of Slave Lake yearly tax process here. We have that all laid out. Just the dates here and when penalties are kind of put on. So we do send these out on all our tax notices. So the January 1st penalty, it should just be noted that this 10% penalty that is applied on the entire balance, no matter what it is, as of December 31st. So if you have 2 years outstanding, whatever that is on December 31st, that 10% is getting applied to that balance. The penalties within the year are only applied to the current year's taxes that are owing. So in 2025, if you didn't pay in July, it's 2% of the levy in 2025, not the entire amount outstanding. So it's really important and really emphasize people who to pay up their taxes by the end of the year, because it's that 10% penalty that can really grow an account if you're having struggles. And the town, we do offer and we do reach out to as many people as possible and offer them a tax contract if they are struggling. That is an option. They can work with our tax clerk, sit down. We are kind of restricted on some of the options that we can give them, but generally there's a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year contract. 3 years, the max is the maximum we're allowed to provide for somebody. But that is always an option. And we do work with a number of people to get them on contract and work with them to stay on that so that we can keep them in their home. Just some supplemental information there, assessments and assessment complaints. So KCL is our assessor. This kind of just gives us a process of how they do their assessments. There's a valuation date and a condition date that is used for assessment purposes. So the valuation date is July 1st. That means the assessment on the 2021 assessment notice is an estimate value of July 1st, 2020. So the assessed value of your house is always the assessed value of the previous year. So a lot of people say, hey, that's not how, that's not what my house is worth. And that's because most people are looking at it, what is it worth today? And so the process is that every single person and every residence, every commercial is judged based on like a July 1st date. It's, it's supposed to make it fair for everybody that we're all set to that. So that's when we say it's the market value, it's the market value of July 1st of the previous year. If you don't agree with your assessed value, there is a process there. And before we jump into, hey, pay a whole bunch of money, let's go to this tribunal, all that other stuff, we do encourage everybody and direct everybody to contact our assessor first. It's a heck of a lot cheaper. He can answer a lot of questions. Maybe he sent out a notice and wasn't allowed in the house, or maybe there is something that's changed that they weren't aware of. And it's definitely our first point of contact to work with him to figure it out, maybe to understand exactly why the property was assessed as such. And we go from there. Should that, not work in that kind of relationship fully break down, that's then when we turn over to our CRASC, our external agent there, that hears these types of complaints. You pay your fee, and then you basically have to go to the board and plead your case. Outside of that, tax notices. So just as a note with this one, really, I think the big purpose here is whether you receive a tax notice or not. It is up to you to actually pay your bill. You are not exempt if you do not receive a tax notice in the mail. We do our best, again, to make sure that all of our information is up to date, our mailing addresses, email addresses, phone numbers. I was actually quite surprised when I first started here on how much email addresses and phone numbers do change on people's accounts. And we're not the, we don't have a huge spy agency here. So when you do change your information, we have absolutely no idea that it changed. If you have 7 emails, we only know the one that you gave us. So while we do our best, there is cases where you may not receive it. However, that doesn't mean that you don't owe it. And with that then, the next couple of slides here are just kind of just gives you an idea of the amount of time it actually takes to get on the tax sale list. So it's basically 3 years before the town actually even actions something on there. So this isn't a, hey, I didn't pay my bill once or twice. Now the municipality is taking the property. This is a quite lengthy, in-depth process. There's multiple notices before someone actually gets on this list, and the municipality has contacted as many people as possible to try and inform that person and work with that before this does go to auction. And with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Okay. Counselor Baus?
Just a quick one. So if somebody is having problems paying their tax bill and they do come in and you guys sign up on a tax contract, is interest still charged while they're paying that off?
No.
No?
So the point that when you do a tax contract, basically what we do is we kind of forecast out as best as we can based on a formula that we have where within say 1 year, 2 years or 3 years, whatever you owe, that's kind of, you have to pay what you owe plus what's coming up in the
Plus what's
future.
coming up, yeah.
But the benefit of that is that when you're on that, penalties are not accruing. So in July, September, you're not, those 2%, 6%, 8% is not getting applied, right? It's not, your balance isn't increasing, and
Yeah.
hopefully if you're on that payment, then you're,
Well, it's good for people to know then if, coming up June, May, June, and they know that they're gonna be, best thing is to come in and talk to you guys
Yeah,
right
we
away.
can work
get it
something
set
out.
up. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Counselor Williams? There you go.
There we go. So when do you send the letter that has information regarding payment contracts to help people out? Does it come with the initial, hey, this, just a heads up, like?
So-
notice?
Generally, like along the process here, if someone is, we can say, hey, maybe on year 2, you haven't paid your taxes in 2 years. It's like, generally, we'll reach out then and be like, hey, we have this thing. Are you interested in that? A lot of people are, some people are like, no, I think I can
Yeah.
handle this. Fair enough. But then we really kind of have a more serious discussion, when their, name gets on the list.
Okay.
Hey, just a heads up, your name is on our tax recovery list here. Here's some of your options. Here's where we're sitting at. And we can work with it through them.
So is this information available for residents to see on our website then, so they are aware of it?
I do believe we have like you have the tip. We do have a property tax contract on the website, which again,
Okay.
we are working on our website so that this information is way more easily accessible. So that, you can find this without having to navigate 6 pages down. But again, we always recommend to, if you're having problems or you have questions, phone the office. The tax clerk is there to assist everybody who may find themselves in trouble.
Okay, one more question. I just wanted to know, so say you are aware of this as a resident and you wait like, say, the 3rd year and then you pay it all up. So going forward, you would have to pay the year in advance then?
So as soon as you pay up your taxes in full, basically the
You're
whole process
good?
resets.
Snow, like, okay, you have to pay ahead of time or anything like
No,
that?
no.
Okay,
No, we're just, all we're worried about is you paying up your taxes in
Yeah.
full. So there's not, oh, this person hasn't paid in 2
Yes.
years, you're on the naughty list, or no, none of that. And that's where the tax recovery process, if you do pay up in full and then you fall behind again, you got another 3 years, right, to kind of get caught back up. So as soon as you get paid in full, this whole process starts right back over again.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Gramlich?
If there's no other questions, I'll just make a motion to accept the report. Information.
Okay, make a motion. Any further discussion? Call the question, those in favor. And that one is carried. Thanks, Roland.
Thank you.
Okay, up next, we have our sports field maintenance contract award. Gentlemen,
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. The purpose of this report is to provide council recommendation for awarding the contract for sports fields maintenance. The sports fields considered in this, in the maintenance contract consist of Sinclair Sports Fields and Charity Sports Fields. The Sinclair fields include 3 baseball fields with turf-face infield and 4 T-ball grass fields. The Charity Sports Fields include 2 slow pitch grass fields, 1 baseball turf-face infield, and 1 multi-use grass field. The sports field maintenance consists of green space and turf-face infield maintenance at both the sports fields. All the maintenance work is in line with our service levels. The previous term of the contract ended at the end of 2025 season. RFP for the maintenance work starting 2026 for the 3-year term was advertised on our website starting February 11th, and the opportunity closed on February 25th. The period of maintenance included in the contract starts at May 1st of each year and ends at September 30th of each year, which is equivalent to 5 months. 2 proposals were received from local contractor. One was from Right True Limited and the other from Murad Group. Upon review, both the proposals were deemed compliant with the requirement of the RFP document, and they were evaluated against proposed price at 40%, reference checks at 10%, past experience at 30%, and company profile at 20%. Based on our evaluation, the highest scoring proposal was submitted by Right True Limited and is recommended for awarding the contract for sports fields maintenance starting 2026. Right True Limited has been established as landscaping and maintenance company since 2015 in town. They currently hold an active contract for maintaining various green spaces in town. And the company also has several other green space contracts with property management groups within town and out of town. Upon reviewing the list of equipment and the staff size the company carries, it seems the company has capacity to undertake the maintenance contract for sports fields. As always, council has a couple options to choose from to proceed with maintenance contract by awarding the contract to the recommended proponent, or do not proceed with the maintenance contract at this time. One of the cost-effective strategy we utilized is to streamline ending of services to September, as historically last tournament is usually scheduled around August long weekend. And after that, we require the contractor to maintain grass lengths at 10 centimeter instead of 7.5 centimeter. The cost for maintenance contract is built into our operating budget, and the new contract amount is $8,400 per month compared to $7,100 per month in the previous contract. The amount is higher. However, if you do the math, the last contract was for 6.5 months every year, which is equivalent to $46,000 a year. And this contract is $8,400 per month for 5 months a year, which is equivalent to $42,000. So overall, the contract price has gone down for year over year. However, we have shortened the contract amount, and the per month cost has gone up. The overall amount of the proposed contract is 50% higher than the previous year, and this reflects year over year increases with respect to labor, insurance, etc. And our recommendation to council is to award sports field maintenance contract to Right True Limited for 3 years, starting from May 1st, 2026.
Okay. Councillor Hughes.
I was just curious, Kush, the last time we did this, did we do a 3-year term?
Yes, it was a 3-year
That's
term.
been
Yes.
consistent? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And just looking at the evaluation summary, I see that there's only one for Right True. There isn't one for, is that just because that's who you're recommending? or-
Yes, yes, that is why,
Okay,
because we are recommending this contractor.
okay.
Councillor Bowes.
So it says here that town administration is in the process of negotiating a lower amount.
Yes.
What are the chances it's going to be less than 8,400 a month then?
It won't be, because the initial kind of like feedback we got is like, now the fuel prices are going up. So they came back and said, hey, would town be willing to include kind of like sort of fuel surcharge in the contract?
Oh, we needed to negotiate about a week ago.
Yes, right. So yeah, we just said no. But if there is any other kind of like ways we can reduce it, then we'll surely will.
Okay.
But for now, it's looking like 8,400 would be what it will stay.
Okay,
Counselor Gramlich?
My first, is this working? Yeah, my first question was kind of a follow-up on Counselor Hughes's question with the 3 years. Is that beneficial to us to lock it in or like, just out of curiosity, would it be better for shorter to try to make them barter the next year? Just more of a curiosity question.
I mean, like historically, we have seen like if you give them multi-year contract, you get a better price
Yeah,
versus just a 1 year contract. Just because they have secured work for the upcoming season as well, right?
then they
So
don't- yeah, okay.
just from that perspective, and there is also like they're also taking on some added risk with, you know, you don't know how the insurance cost would be. You don't know how the fuel charges would be, right? So we always sign the contract with the terms that there will be no cost escalations allowed after the fact. So there's also some sort of like a win on our end.
Okay.
But there is also risk built up with multi-year contracts on their end.
Okay, and then another follow-up to Counselor Hughes' question again a bit. Are we able to see the other score or no?
I mean, for previous contracts and tenders and stuff, we usually only show the one that we are recommending. And the reason being is like, one of the reason could be, I mean, like you can pull up the previous kind of like construction contract awards. And the reason is like, we are inviting then the other unsuccessful contractor and they are coming and questioning as to why did I get so low score in this kind of like this section and that section. So that is the reason we just
I was just
only,
thinking back to to follow up on that, I was just thinking back to like the recycle, not the, the in-town recycle center. That the contract awards for that and for garbage, we had scoring of all of them. So that's why this also piqued in returning
Yeah.
counselor, piqued our interest, because usually we're presented with at least the scoring, maybe not the pricing, because again, you don't generally provide the pricing of the unsuccessful. Actually, no, you do. We've had pricing contract too on the old
So-
ones.
yeah, those are more like firm pricing, right? So which doesn't allow any negotiations or anything like that, right?
Okay.
But because this is request for proposal, which is like more sort of like informal form of tendering, which does allow some ways where you can negotiate the price after the fact, right? So that is why we refrain from putting a number wherever we can. If we know that nothing is going to change, then yeah, we can. But just to give you reference, like, you know, I mean, like, I don't mind sharing the number. The number for Murad Group was around 65,000 higher than what we used, 65% higher than what we were paying in the last contract. So which would be very like unfeasible for us to go with that contractor.
And continuing on with that question, then that was, so that's for me personally, in order to make a decision between ultimately contract award, you provide your recommendation, but in order for council to make that decision, especially given that it's a new year with, you know, and
Fair
the
enough.
scoring system is new to the almost half of council. I think it's, you know, I prefer when we see, you know, the scoring of the
Sure.
other ones. I understand that may create some questions after the fact from
Sure.
the bidders that do that, but if we're gonna make a decision, it's hard to make a decision when I don't have what I'm choosing between,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Even, sorry. I'm
Yeah,
still on it.
continue. I was.
Even
I
like,
interrupted there.
I don't even know if you, for this, if you need to give all the information, but even if the score would be like, they're an 8 and they're a 6,
Right.
and the other stuff could be hidden in there or whatever you need to do, but I think it'd be probably better if we're making a decision from 2 and we only get to see 1, just, I think, right? Am I wrong?
No, that's
Yeah.
the first thing I thought of when I
So-
read it now. Is just when you're deciding between two things again, and I understand you can't have everything. Maybe you don't want to do the full breakdown per category, but say, okay, this contractor rated at
Right.
a 80 and this one was a 60 or whatever. I probably got the scoring mechanism wrong, so
Right.
been a day, but having something to compare it to. I
Right.
just keep going. The only one I can remember offhand was, you know, the one about the garbage
Right.
and garbage disposal and having the pricing not the pricing necessarily per contractor, but the evaluation of the multiple proposals. So we can see who scored higher. Cause that's just I just recall seeing that. Maybe not on the ones like this, but I think it would be helpful. Anything further in your, that's where you're going at? Okay. Anything else? Although we do know with information there that it was the other one significantly higher pricing wise. Counselor Hughes.
I just have a question, I guess, in terms of the contract itself as well. Typically for something like this, I'm just thinking about how you brought up a price change. They can't change a price within the 3-year term. Is there a clause in there as well that maybe if for some reason they cannot provide the manpower or
Yes.
do the job to the
Yes.
standard which we have set, then
Yes.
this would come back? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes. So we do have that option where we can pretty much hold contractor to default because
Right.
they are not providing satisfactory services or their quality of work is not there. They don't have decent crew sizes as they, express in RFP. Yeah, so
For
we do
sure.
have those mechanisms in place.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just trying to kind of learn from past experiences here and thinking of those little things, wanting to make sure they're included. I know it's a challenge for businesses in town in general, so just trying to make sure we're fielding that and whatnot. But thank you. That's great.
Counselor Bowles,
Just-
sorry.
Had a thought. So within the contract, like you said, so prices can't change. Just ensuring that there isn't anything in the contract, just thinking about fuel that says if fuel price goes over this, then they will charge a fuel surcharge. If year 2, we get a carbon tax back on and that kind of stuff, that they can't come back and say, well, now they're going to charge us this because that was part. It's just 8,400 a month
Right.
regardless of.
Yeah, no leeway room, right? I mean, like it's just lock price, and that is why like business, they have to take some risk, right?
Yeah.
When they're in the business, right? So that is how, I mean, like.
I know I'm being nitpicky, but
Right.
it's the little print. Okay, thanks, Kush.
Counselor Hughes.
Okay, with that, I'll make a motion. I move that council awards the contract for the sports field maintenance to Ride True Limited for a 3-year term commencing May 1st, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2028.
Okay, motion on the floor. Do we have any further discussion on that? Okay, called question. Those in favor? And that is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go into the CAO update.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We'll do an overview of the CAO update for today. We'll start with our Planning and Development Department. They have completed their comprehensive revamp of their section of the website, and all other departments are currently reviewing their sections of the website as well. We're really trying to make it a bit more user-friendly for our citizens and our visitors to the town. They've also been invited to speak at the Building Homes, Building Businesses event on March 17th, hosted by Community Futures. And as the weather starts to warm up, they're also starting to see some applications for permits come in. Human Resources, we currently have 3 positions open within the organization. They are also looking at some of our policies and training plans for the upcoming season. Health and Safety, the OHS inspections that have been taking place. Actually as of today, the inspector came up and went to the multi-rec center. And the in-house inspections will be completed for the fire hall, dog pound, and the MRC as well in March. Projects, they've completed the review of the regional servicing standards with the MD of Lesser Slave River, using the funding support from provincial government under the Community Partnership Grant. And they're preparing the final capital projects for this year's 2026 budget. Our protective services, the fire department, some exciting news for the regional fire service. The new engine was put into place in Widewater. So our administration staff from Slave Lake worked on that, and it's now in service, and it's already responded to calls within the region. They hosted a practical leadership training with members from the Lesser Slave Regional Fire Service and our mutual aid departments. The calls as of March 2nd were 106. For February, we're 55, which is probably the highest month they've had for February as far as calls go. And there's currently 118 members and students with the Regional Fire Service. Enforcement Services, again, busy with helping with parking issues during snow removal and other residential cleanup took place. There was 50 cars checked, 3 were towed. 15 were called and they complied, and the rest were either moving or had moved when they returned back the following morning. There was 13 complaints, violations that were followed up that were called into our complaint line. And as a note, these do not include traffic tickets or bylaw tickets that our police officer issues in the course of his duty. Those all go through the Alberta system. In the operations department, I think we're all aware that the Public Works has been dealing with snow. And then just for fun on Saturday, they dealt with flowing water. So that's kind of been the theme with them. We did have crews out all weekend, trying to move water as well as clear some icy spots. They were over in front of Roland Michener, 6th Avenue Southwest with some equipment. And then Sunday and Monday, we got hit with more snow. So they were out dealing with that. And today the roads are melting. So they're all pretty appreciative of Mother Nature, the way she's handed them all of these nice weather patterns this year. Again, sanding and salting. They've also, in their course of their regular duties, been doing monthly light checks with all of our different signals and things in town. It was noted today that there was an issue with the light at Highway 2 and Main Street, which does not fall under us, but a call was made to let Transportation know about that. It was brought to the town's attention, but it doesn't fall under our purview. The utilities, the water plant, shop rentals are still ongoing, and the Sawridge lift station indicator and maintenance installation has taken place. Community services at the MRC, we had a very well-attended Frost Fest this year. Between 600 and 650 people attendant of the carnival at the field house, 250 people for the frolic in the park, which considering the weather was a very good turnout, and 150 people attended the Kodiaks, who put a team together, come out of retirement to play our emergency services. I won't comment on the score, but the Kodiaks didn't fare very well. Minor hockey is pretty much wrapping up. The spring break camp is taking place on 16th to the 20th of March, and Treaty 8 is taking place on the 26th to 29th, and our departments are very much in planning stages for that, as it is a big event for our team and bring lots of people to town. The March at the Legacy Center has 7 bookings, with 3 of them being multi-day bookings. Our family, community, and sports services, the Family Fun Movie Night Swim had 88 people. The next Family Fun Night is March 25th with a beading craft. The income tax program began on March 3rd and runs till May 1st, and that's the volunteer program. The pool, they're excited about having a new laundry unit. They can now wash all their towels and swimsuits and the rental towels without having to take them out of the building to the college facilities. There was a hot tub shut down and it was closed for 7 days, but is now back up and running. The facilities team, again, ongoing snow removal on trails and sidewalks. They've been dealing with some duct cleaning at the government building and helping with multiple Legacy Center setups. Any questions?
I may have missed this on the fire department there. So it said that the total calls as of February 28th, 2026 were 55. Was that year to date? Because then it says the calls as of March 2nd were 106. I'm just curious if there were 50.
So there was 55 calls in the month.
In the month.
of
Okay,
February?
perfect. That's what I thought. I was
Yeah.
just, the way I was reading, I was like, there's no way there was 51 calls in 3 days.
And the
So-
106 is we're trending about the same as the last couple of years.
Yeah, okay.
But February was a very busy month with 55 calls.
I was curious if that was with the weather. Apologies on that. Anything further? Okay, Counselor Hughes.
Motion to accept the CAO update as information.
Okay, motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that one is carried. Is everything actually clear on the management task list?
As of right now, the management task list is currently empty. The last couple of things came off over the last couple of meetings. As a note, we are just wrapping up our strategic planning work documents that we're being prepared to bring to council, as well as our final budget. So we are looking forward to getting those off the table, and the management task list will probably start to see some items added after that time.
Okay, perfect. That's fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen it empty.
I don't believe it.
I just want to write budget in there just so that there's something. Okay, I would like a motion from council. Counselor Choba.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the management task list as information.
Not much information, but there is information there. I'll assume there's no further discussion and I'll call the question those in favor. And that one is carried. Anything for question period? Counselor
A
Gramlich.
question for Ashley, actually. Did the delegation reach out at all? Are they coming still? Any info on that?
Oh, there we go.
I have not heard from the delegation.
Okay.
If you would like, we can move it to the next meeting or we can recess and I can call,
If
but
We should reset.
last I spoke, they were coming. But something could have possibly come up personally. I
Yeah,
don't know.
we'll take a quick recess right now. If you have their contact information on the form, it'd be great if you get someone, give them a call. Yes, Alex.
Finish question period first.
Yes, we'll finish question period and then we'll take a recess. But that was one of the questions.
That was a very important
It's a
question.
very important question. Yeah, if you want to just give her a call on the break, that'd be great. Anything further from council? Okay, well, that ends question period and we will now take a recess before we go through our committee minutes. Okay, welcome back. We are going to need a motion on delegations.
Do we need a motion to move it or should this apply again as a delegation, eh? I'm Canadian.
Motion to move it to next meeting, or what do you need?
Just as she's already put in the delegation paperwork, I think it'd be nice to make a motion just to, if council accepts the same application, if you will, to move it to the next meeting.
Wonderful.
I would like to make a motion that council accepts that we move for delegation paperwork to the next meeting.
Okay, motion to table the delegation to the next meeting. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that one is carried. All right, let's move into our committee minutes. First up is Alberta North Central Alliance.
We had a pretty good meeting, first in-person one we've had in a while. I believe the new term, yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of work in progress things. We learned about our housing study. It's about 70% done, so not going to share all of that. Our friends at Sucker Creek are actually going to start building their own homes because it's so hard to get the modulars and the pricing and stuff. So they're going to start to build one or two there and maybe make it into something regionally and maybe some sort of partnerships with provincial, federal, ANSA. They're just at the very beginning stages, but it's kind of exciting to hear. And obviously everyone in the region, the province, the country has the same problems with housing. So this is the approach where, you know, we've tried to have developers come. Everyone's tried these same type things. They're just going to try to do it themselves and maybe it grows and maybe there's some youth programming, very early stages, but I thought that was a pretty exciting thing for the region. And to discuss the joint event at the legislature, very vague, very early. We have the EDA courses that every member of ANSA sent a staff member or however many they wanted to. There's 6 follow-up courses that we're now gonna pay for as ANSA if everyone wants to send everyone so they're fully certified in those. And I think that is that's about enough of it.
Okay, excellent. Next up is Lesser Slave Lake Regional Housing Authority, which is me. So basically, we're just continuing the regular business on this committee. Given the interesting weather that we've had recently, there was a significant discussion surrounding policies and best practices regarding checking on vacant units. There's some vacant units oftentimes in Smith. In the town of Slave Lake, there is no vacancy. We're going to go into the waiting list statistics in a minute, but in Smith, there's vacant units, and for insurance, we want to make sure that that's covered. For our update on the wait list, the December waiting list overall was 84, and we are down one in January to 83. Our senior self-contained and Vanderwell Heritage Place went up by 1. So the wait list at the end of January is 29, which is the highest waiting list I've ever seen in 5 years on this committee. I've never seen it be at 29. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when it was 0 to 5, and the 5 were mostly placeholders because they were waiting or not ready to move into the facility. The fact that we're seeing the numbers increase like this, even in our community, tells me that all the studies and statistics regarding the need for seniors housing in the next 5, 10, 25 years is going to be significant if we're already starting to feel that. Social housing, it did decline by 1. There's been a focus over the last 6 months or so to move along some houses that were a bit stalled on some of their renovations and find ways to get those moving so that properties are sitting for less when there's a move out. Unfortunately, most of the time on move out, there's significant damages. A lot of, usually there's always paint and flooring required. A lot of times there's also cabinets required. So they generally don't end up in good condition on a move out. And also, so some exciting news for the Housing Authority is that every year we submit an annual plan to the province. So the province, this indicates our plan for the provincial units as well as the units we own. So the social housing units, the majority of them, the Housing Authority doesn't own. They're owned by the province, but operated by the Housing Authority. And in this annual plan, you can put forward a list of properties that you would like transferred to the Housing Authority. I'm not fully sure on the history of this, but you do it every year and generally you don't get anything. It's hit or miss. They don't transfer all of these. And apparently it's going to be phased out. But this year we are going to be receiving 11 of the properties that we managed, transferred for $1 into our housing authority, as well as a substantial maintenance amount to be spent over 2 years, which I believe is $414,000. So that would be to get those properties up to speed to the point where on transfer, you're receiving them in what would be like a fair market value condition. So it is absolutely fantastic that that this went through for the housing authority. It helps to build our portfolio. It will also assist if we're looking at new builds, which we are in partnership with a few different scenarios here that we'll be able to borrow against with having collateral that is in the hands of the housing authority. There's significant rules on disposition. You can't just have them transferred and then sell them. And then if you do, the money has to be used for new builds. So there's significant restrictions regarding the transfer, but they're all within the mandate of the housing authority, why you would use them. So fantastic news. I guess that would be the most exciting thing, especially because in 5 years, this is the first time I've seen a transfer to us. So that's great. And with that, I'll move on to Tri-Council Health. Thank you.
Okay, so Tri-Council Health, they are getting ready for the students event in April. They just had one in High Prairie last week that apparently they had 40 students, went really well. Stars even came to that one. The one that we have, our EMS should be bringing their SIMS unit. So that sounds very exciting. We've got 2 new doctors have come in. One is currently in assessments. The other one should be coming soon. And actually, we might even be getting a family member of one of the doctors when their contract is done. So it looks like we would be getting another one probably come November. Right now, we are looking at about a 10 day to 14 or 10 day to 2 week wait to get an appointment. It could be 6 to 8 weeks, depending on if you're specific on your provider. But there are 4 new doctors accepting new patients. We still have about 4,000 people who go to the walk-in clinic and are not attached to any specific doctor. Still kind of looking into this, but the way it looks is that these people just choose to not have a doctor. What else? They do have some issues with, because the clinic isn't able to be open in the evening. But that has to do with the physicians, how many of them are working in the evenings, the MPs working evenings. And I mean, traditionally, it's the nurse practitioners working evenings, but you can't have them doing that all the time. We still do not have anyone coming that has anesthetics. So we still are unable to have surgery here, but they are looking to make a change to that because we do have a doctor with surgical skills. So it'd be nice to get a doctor with anesthesiology so that then we could match those up.
Quick question, Councillor Bowser, I may have missed it. Do you have an update on the patient panel? I usually say it's 12,000 on the numbers.
They didn't give us numbers this time. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the only number we really got was that basically right now there's about 4,000 unattached people.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris wasn't there, the
Okay.
manager, so Johan was relaying some information for us, so that's why we don't have all the staff.
The only reason I ask is there's been some meetings with, I'm on the regional health committee. Region 4, the Region 4 Health Committee. And I like an update on the patient panel numbers. Just for that. That would be helpful. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting there.
No, and that was about it.
Fantastic. Okay, on to tourism.
There I am. Okay. So tourism has been pursuing business memberships throughout the region and starting to really network as much as we possibly can, particularly in the High Prairie and Big Lakes County area. Our administrator is just much less known there. So we've been trying to come up with some strategies to reach businesses there and kind of taking some one-on-one time to connect with them, let them know what tourism is doing and that we are sort of a new regional partner for them. Our tourism coordinator had the opportunity to attend the Tourism Advocacy Conference in Edmonton, and a thank you to the Town of Slave Lake Council, as well as some of our other partners. Everyone contributed a small fee in order to send her to the conference. I do have a few notes that she made that I wanted to highlight to everyone. So she said it was both encouraging and very clarifying to see where tourism is heading in our province and where our region fits in that direction. She was very grateful for the opportunity to represent the Slave Lake region. And this gathering included municipal leaders, Indigenous partners, operators, DMOs, senior government officials, economists, and industry CEOs. There were a lot of great conversations shaping Alberta's tourism future. One of the most valuable aspects of the summit to her was the relationship building. She was able to connect with DMOs, hotel managers, board members from all over Alberta. We made a lot of connections with Grand Prairie tourism, Westlock, Athabasca, Smoky Lake, Cold Lake, etc. Lots of people in the north. As northern and central Alberta regions, there is real potential for future collaborations here, particularly around a development of circle tours and multi-night itineraries that will encourage visitors to travel north of Edmonton rather than simply passing through our region. We also were able to get one-on-one time with our Travel Alberta Destination Development Manager discussing what comes next for our region. Now that our membership program is launched successfully, our focus must shift towards experience development. We have already begun discussing steps to begin creating curated circle tours that connect our lakes, communities, events, and outdoor assets into cohesive visitor journeys designed to extend stays and increase local spending. What stood out most at the summit was this: tourism is no longer being treated as a side industry in Alberta. It is being positioned as a core economic infrastructure. The tone was consistent throughout the conference. Tourism is being framed as trade infrastructure and export industry and a driver of economic diversification. And the shift in language matters there. Alberta's tourism sector generated $14.4 billion in visitor spending, including $3.5 billion in international spending, which was up 16% year over year. Alberta has led international arrival growth in 2025 with a 4% increase. For Alberta North specifically, tourism spending was identified at $767 million. That is not a small number. Tourism supports restaurants, campgrounds, hotels, guides, outfitters, fuel stations, retailers, cultural organizations, and events as well. And it brings outside dollars into our communities and supports the small businesses. So just kind of a little highlight for you guys on what she was hearing. The province has now set a target of $25 billion in tourism spending by 2035. And they are saying that that is it's not maintenance, that is their expansion and their dream of expansion for tourism. So just something very exciting that I wanted to share with the group. I actually feel there may be value in the future of having some of the tourism representatives from our nations and municipalities to attend this conference in the future. There were, the mayor of Grand Prairie was there. There were actually a lot of council members included, which was something I wasn't even aware of because I didn't know that this advocacy conference existed. So something to look forward to here in the future, possibly. And just a few other notes. So the MD of Opportunity has recently hired a tourism representative as well for them specifically. They've started attending our meetings and he is a fabulous young guy. His name is Zach. He's originally from the Wabasca area as well, has a marketing background. And so it's been really great to connect with them. And we're just seeing a lot of leaps and bounds with all the different municipalities and nations that are joining the regional group. It's been really, really great and really positive. We have been asked to partner as well with Indigenous Tourism Alberta to host a conference in Slave Lake this coming fall. So that will be a great opportunity for us to connect with our nations and neighbors and just continue to make connections with operators, sell memberships, etc. We are continuing to work on our website prototype right now, being prepared to launch it, and also hoping to have our new brand launch here very shortly. And one other very exciting news is we've received approval of our NRED grant application that we submitted for a few months ago in the amount of $46,700. So we're very excited for that. We'll be able to implement phase 2 of our regional tourism strategy. And I just wanted to say a thank you to the members of the ANCA and especially to Jen Turchill. She helped us do that application and she's been really invaluable for us, and just as well to our own admin as well, Shauna, for taking that on and doing a lot of the grunt work. So very exciting things happening in tourism, and we're happy to have some more funds and be able to move forward.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Youth Advisory Committee, Counselor Bowes.
So we didn't actually meet last week, but 2 weeks ago, the Youth Advisory Committee did a presentation to the Rotary Club. And other than Abby, myself, and Darcy just being there to support them, we didn't actually do anything. It was these kids, they did the whole presentation themselves. And we just found out the other day that the Rotary has approved them for money from the Rotary. So just want to say a shout out to the students that are on this advisory committee. They were just fabulous to actually get up, and they took questions from the Rotary members. It was a very big learning experience, and I'm so glad that they're actually getting some funds. So it's going to be really exciting to see the next event that they host.
Counselor Gramlich? MPC?
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you had a question or if
no,
you're going for the
no.
report.
MPC, we approved a subdivision, and before everyone gets excited, it's just subdividing essentially. We're not getting a whole new subdivision or anything behind Ford and the Slave Lake Developments building.
Okay, and then I'm up for Waste Commission. Most of the last meeting was just cleaning up some business regarding budget update. There were some adjustments to projected engineering fees and adjustments on or benefits through Sun Life for closer to actuals. The Waste Commission is continuing with technology upgrades at the landfill, essentially stopping the landfill from operating in a silo technologically so that it can access information and update in real time to the administration building. So we're pulling that out of 1985, which is exciting. You know, they've been communicating by handheld radios. So there's some progress updates to be had, and looking at some cell phone boosters as well. So that's exciting, a technology update there. More significant discussion was surrounding a new cell. On the commission for the last little bit, lots of discussion on extending the cell life. It's 1 year, it's 2 years, it's who knows? So we are going to be, we requested administration to come back with a more concrete report from engineering on the true expected remaining life of the cell. Estimates right now are 2028, but it's been a moving target for a while. With that on my notes here, so we had asked at the last meeting for some debt limit information. So generally your debt limit is twice the amount of your gross revenue. So the debt limit for the Waste Commission for borrowing is around 3 million. Looking at construction costs, updated figures, it would be about $1.5 million to construct a new cell and about $1.5 million to close the current cell. Now they're not always occurred in the same year. So right now there is closure and post-closure reserves of around $1 million. So debenture is looking anywhere between 1.5 to 2 million, depending on the exact cost. So I've rounded a bit. So these would be well within the borrowing capacity of the Waste Commission without having to lean on either municipality against their own debt limit. So you would use your closure and post-closure reserves. Given that most cells have a 25-year lifespan, then there is time to build up the reserve funding for the next one. So we asked for some information that's going to come back on how much per year in post-closure costs and just the updated cell life. And that's based a lot on the airspace and the slope of the existing landfill. So we're going to have some more information coming up on that, looking for some concrete answers from that commission so that we can figure out a path forward, as landfill items aren't generally anything one wants to think about where garbage goes, but that's it's going to be a significant cost upcoming in the future. And that ends our committee minutes. Councillor Hughes,
Motion to accept the committee minutes as presented.
any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that one is carried. Now we will move into State of the Lake. Does anyone have anything for State of the Lake? Councillor Williams.
Yes, we generally tend to focus our attention to things that go wrong more than we do to things that go right. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody at the Slave Lake Healthcare Center, specifically Dr. Raj Sahota, for his advocacy and care for my daughter. We all know wait times are a huge issue in Alberta when it comes to any kind of consultation, specialized services, surgery. The wait time for this particular surgery my daughter needed would be about 2 to 3 months as an emergency for initial consultation. And then from there, 6 to 9 months for the actual surgery. Because of the advocacy of Dr. Raj, coming in with his phone calls, faxes, writing letters, we were able to have it from start to finish within 6 weeks, which was amazing. So my daughter got her surgery yesterday, is recovering amazingly, and I'd like to credit the Slave Lake Healthcare Center and everybody involved in helping with this.
Thank you, Counselor Williams. Counselor Gramlich.
Just a little good news story for some young kids. I want to congratulate the U13 team on winning their league championship this weekend. I won't name them all, but the leadership group is Ethan Griffith, Logan Pearson, and Jax Eben. So they could pass along the messages at school tomorrow from council. Good job.
Fantastic. Anything further? I'll make a quick note that there is the RMSS cake auction tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Roland Mitchner. I just saw that on calendar of events. Generally, that's quite feisty, so it is entertaining. The open your wallets and come enjoy some cake. And with that, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session. Counselor Choba,
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session.
any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that one is carried. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. And Counselor Williams.
I would like to motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried.